What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of HRTea. I hope your week was swell. I am super excited for this week's episode. I know I say that all the time, but I just keep getting more and more excited every week. I am super excited about this week's episode, though, because this guest, I just spent an extra hour and a half talking to them after recording. His name is Ernie. I think he's extremely funny. He can also sit there and have like a very deep conversation, but also make like lighthearted jokes about things as well, and that's always what I'm looking for. He's got quite the following on TikTok. He posts really funny videos, and he shared his coming out story with us and his opinions and his dating life and all the good stuff, and I had a lot of fun with him. So make sure you go follow him on TikTok. His handle will be in the description below and on screen. And make sure you go follow me at HRT Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. Follow me on Twitch. I live stream every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe to me on Patreon. I have a lot of bonus content on there. I appreciate it. Join my Discord. Turn on my post notifications. Go check out After Dark if you haven't already. And that's about it. It's really freaking hot in this room, so I'm gonna go for a swim. I'm gonna go sit by the pool. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I love you all so much. Okay, let's go talk to Ernie. Bye! I'm gonna start by asking you where you're from.
I'm from Dublin. I live in the UK at the moment, but I was born in Dublin, Ireland.
Oh shit! Okay, when did you move from Dublin to the UK?
I don't remember what exact age, but I was a small child. And yeah, that's why my accent is so, like, it's not Irish, but it's also not English, really. It's kind of like a mix, I would say.
I was trying to clock it before like we really started talking, and I was like, I can't tell if that's an Irish accent or a UK accent. But it is giving more Irish. For sure.
All right, I'm good with that. No offense to British people, but I I like my Irish roots, you know.
Yeah, as you should. So, how does the UK treat you as a trans man?
I think like our government is not perfect. By any means. I think in very similar ways to how your government is in the US. But I think there's less of a threat to our rights in a way. But for the most part, like personally, I've never experienced any transphobia face to face here. I feel like I'm very much in an echo chamber. The city that I live in is really accepting. I mean, it's fairly compared to the rest of the world. I have it easy in the UK for sure.
I absolutely love that. How old are you again?
26.
26.
Mm-hmm. How old are you?
25. I'm 25.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
We've got the frontal lobe is developed, you know.
Is it?
I feel like maybe being trans stunts it sometimes, but it's getting there for sure. We both have Funko Pops, so you know.
How long have you been on hormones, my guy?
It's been nearly 6 years now. I'm on Sustanon, which I don't know if it's available there.
Oh, fuck is Sustanon?
Do you have Nebido?
Don't know what that is either.
Sustanon is like, so it's a injection that I take once a month. It's like, I think it's like Sustanon 250 milligrams. All I know about it is it's a peanut oil based substance, and it gives me a deep voice and some facial hair.
That's crazy.
It's some sort of steroid.
It's testosterone, though, right?
It is testosterone. Yes, yeah. It is testosterone. I think. I hope.
Did you say peanut oil before?
Yeah. The only reason that I know that is it comes in these capsules, and the box outside says that it's like the base is a peanut oil. So if you have a peanut allergy, you can't So any trans man with peanut allergies, like, say goodbye to your hormones. There's no hope for you. I'm sorry.
What the hell? I have never heard of that before. I guess is this just a UK thing?
Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, it's like a shot once a month, and it's like a very thick liquid. So they use like the biggest possible needle sharp. I don't
Wow.
know. But how do you do injections or T-gel?
I was just doing injections for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I just came off of them. I started doing gel like a week ago.
How is that?
Bliss, to be honest. I'm loving it. The fact that I don't have to worry about taking my shot anymore. Like, I never had like crazy shot anxiety or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
as time went on, it gets like fucking annoying to have to do it every 2 weeks or every week or whatever.
Yeah.
And just the process of it becomes like a chore.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to switch to gel because like there's like a stigma around gel where like you'll start to detransition if you switch,
Mhm.
which is untrue.
Yeah.
But I finally got past that mental block and finally started doing gel, and it's absolute bliss. I mean, I wake up every morning, I go and stick it on my thighs, and then I'm good to go. It's great.
How often were your shots?
I was doing intramuscular every 2 weeks for like 7 years.
Okay,
6
that's
years.
a lot.
And then and then I got switched to every week, which
Ooh.
made it even worse. Yeah.
Why was that? They just wanted to higher your dose, or?
I was getting horrible cramps because I guess I was going 2 weeks like with a lot of testosterone in the beginning, and then it would die out, and as
Right.
soon as like I was getting closer to my next shot day, my cramps would get even worse. So they
Mhm.
tried to make it so there wasn't so much time in between shots.
Mhm.
And now with the gel, I think it's even better because I'm getting it every day.
Yeah. Well, I
But-
mean, it's something that I asked because it's something that I've been considering recently, because I don't know if you ever get this, but sometimes I just forget that I'm a trans man, and because I get them once a month, it's kind of like easy for me to forget. Like, it's not
Mhm.
often enough for me to remember.
Right.
So like there was recently, like I think like the past couple of months, there was a moment where my menstrual cycle came back because I just skipped a shot, like I completely forgot about it, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh,
Oh, I'm
fuck,
trans.
yeah, I'm a trans guy, of course. And
No,
so
that's
yeah, I had
rough.
to like go and get my shot, and it took like 2 shots for the menstrual cycle to stop, and it wasn't really like a big thing or anything. It lasted like a day each time,
Mhm.
but it made me think like maybe I'll either switch to Nebido, which is an injection once every 3 months, or I'll switch to the gel. I don't know.
Well, when you go get your monthly injection, I'm guessing you go to a doctor's office to do it, or do you do it yourself?
I get it. Well, this is the catch-22. This is how they have me. I have a really good relationship with my nurse, like not in that way.
No, no way, I swear.
It's not like that. But no, she's just like the sweetest, kindest person, and I've been seeing her for like 5, not in that way, but I've been seeing her for appointments for 5 years, and yeah, we just like know so much about each other's lives, and
Cool.
yeah, I wouldn't want to stop seeing her.
That's
So-
fair. That's fair.
So I feel like my need to see her personally almost outweighs my personal needs, actually.
That's fair. I don't blame you there. So if you were to switch to gel or whatever, you probably wouldn't get to see her then.
Probably never again. No, I would probably never cross paths. So I think
That sucks.
that's what's keeping me to the system on. Maybe I could like switch to gel and just as an excuse be like, hey, can I come in for a checkup once a month? Is that okay? I just want to see everything's
That's
going
fair.
okay.
Well, is it like against the rules to just like befriend her? Like,
Probably
just be
yeah,
her friend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost. I probably shouldn't even know things about her life that I know, but I do.
Well, I was also afraid Dude, I itch myself like fucking once and my neck turns red. Please ignore it.
It's fine. I'm staring at myself as I told you, so so you're fine. You're kind of like invisible to me.
I was also afraid when I started gel that the cycle would come back as well. It's only been like 2 weeks or something, so it hasn't yet, but it is like my main concern because when I was speaking to my doctor, my folks clinician about it, she was like, that is definitely a possibility, so beware. And I was like, if that happens, World War III. World War fucking III.
You know, what's interesting is when it does actually happen, you know, I was telling like a few friends that it had happened and whatever, because when it did, I was like shocked. But I found that like it didn't actually bother me that much. Like it didn't get in my head as much as I expected it to. The only thing that like was nerve wracking was going to the shop and buying sanitary towels or pads, whatever you call them. I was just like, I walked in there, I was like, everybody knows, everybody knows, everybody knows. There's no way they did, like, probably not.
I have a friend who their cycle came back as well, and he buys pads, tampons, whatever for his girlfriend probably all the time. He was like, I do it for her all the time, but when it was for me, I was like, everybody fucking knows this is horrible. And I'm like, dude, it's okay. Like everyone probably just thinks you're doing it for your girlfriend. Don't worry. But I can't imagine.
I remember like buying pads for like somebody I'd been seeing in the past. And when I walked into the shop and I was like buying pads for my girlfriend, I was like, yeah, I'm the like it was almost like an experience rewritten for me. I was like, yeah, I'm the man, just like
it feels really masculine.
Yeah, for some reason it felt like super masculine, and then as soon as it was for myself, I was like, everybody in the shop knows. Like they're pointing and staring at you.
The brain is a fucked up place, man.
It really is. But honestly, if your menstrual cycle came back on gel, the likelihood is that it wouldn't be severe by any means. I don't think that it would last that long.
Yeah. Fucking fingers crossed, dude. I would kill myself. I don't know how.
I mean, don't do that.
I don't know how people do that. Okay, I will. Don't worry.
You don't want you doing that. That's a little bit romantic. Come on.
I say that way too often. I gotta stop saying that, especially on the internet.
No, I'm the exact same. Especially the thing is as well, like I think on certain like apps, maybe like TikTok. I think I said it in a video once, and I got like a strike on my account, and I was like, okay, shit, I can't say that so casually anymore. You know,
it's like, come on, let me be fucking dramatic. It's fine. All right, let me ask you about surgeries. Have you gotten any? Do you want any in the future?
Yes. So I was ready for this question. I say yes. I've gotten top surgery, and I got that. I think it's like coming up to 4 years ago now.
Okay.
And I plan on getting phalloplasty. So I've had my consultation, and I'm just waiting for my surgeon to say, hey, I want you to come on this date. And that's...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't know, because there's not many phalloplasty surgeons here. So I don't actually know when that date will be, but I think it's likely to be like towards the end of this year or middle of next year.
That's dope. Congratulations. That's fucking awesome.
Thank you.
How are you feeling towards it? Are you excited? Are you nervous?
I think there's definitely mixed feelings, right? Because it's like have you looked into have you gotten bottom surgery or looked into it?
I've looked into it. I've mostly gotten a lot of my information from past guests who have got it or want it.
Yeah, with phalloplasty, like the only thing that makes me nervous is how many complications can come with it. But I think, like, for the most part, I felt the same way about top surgery, about being under anesthetic. I had this, like, really big fear about it. But then they put you under anesthesia, and it's like, you wake up. And you're like, oh, okay, it's time. And, like, the recovery part, because everything's kind of, like, numb, it's not that big of a deal. And also, like,
Mm-hmm.
people are like bringing you soup and shit if you're lucky. It's like, oh, okay, this is great. Like, I'm getting attention. Like,
Right.
I love this.
So, do you have like a good support system for when you're recovering? Because I have heard that's like very important.
Yeah,
People
I
who get
mean,
found posty.
I was super lucky with my top surgery recovery. Um, I had like my I had my parents, but I stayed at my friend's family home. Um, and they like really took care of me, like made me amazing meals. And I had
That's
like
good.
this I stayed in like one of the bedrooms there, and Suzanne, who was like the mom, she was taking care of me. She like I think there was like 17 pillows on that bed, to keep me like up. I don't know whether you had to
Yeah.
do that. Like you had to sleep upright for like
Yeah,
two
it
weeks.
sucked. I hated it.
I mean, you
Awful.
physically can't really do that. So I was just kind of
Mhm.
mentally going insane, but I was quite comfortable on 17 pillows.
That's awesome.
I got super lucky. So
That's good. I'm glad.
yeah.
Well, I mean, how do you feel about like the kind of stigma that's around bottom surgery? Because I feel like either somebody is like, no, the science isn't behind it, or
Mhm.
it's like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm doing it, I hate myself.
I mean, I just think that like almost every procedure has a stigma behind it. Like, you think about like the COVID vaccine and how
Mm.
like polarizing people's opinions towards that are. I think everybody has fucking something to say, you know what I mean? So I
Well, yeah, I
think
do.
yeah, it's like I think that if it's something that is gonna cure my gender dysphoria for that area, then like
Mm,
I put my trust in science for that.
mm.
And if there are any complications down the line, I'm just gonna kind of be like, hey, I'm paying you a lot of money, fix it. But I
Deadass.
think usually there's a
Yeah.
solution usually. I mean, I think when you talk about stigma, do you mean like we're not medically advanced enough to know that that is going to be working long term, or do you mean people's opinions about like how it mentally affects people? Because I know about percentages of people who feel. Are you allowed to say certain words on YouTube?
I say whatever the hell I want and just hope for the best, to be
Like
honest.
percentages of people who feel suicidal after they get
Mm.
bottom surgery. Is that what you mean when you say stigma?
I I know that is true 100%, but I guess I meant stigma in the way like there's so many people who are like, I don't know, the science is behind it. It doesn't
Oh,
work the way, a cis man would, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
I don't want it. Like, to be honest, I don't want it to work the way a cis man's would.
Period.
like, I hear a lot of things from, women in my life, friends, uh,
Mm.
who said they had bad sex with cis men. So, so clearly, something's not working down there. I hope that mine doesn't
Right.
work that way.
That is the best answer I've ever heard in my life. I love
Yeah,
that. As you fucking should.
that's it.
No, I'm like super excited for you. I think that's like an awesome step towards like being comfortable in your own skin. So like no matter what anybody fucking says about bottom surgery or anything, don't listen to it because obviously you know what's best for you. So fuck yeah.
Thank you, Cody. How do you feel about that, by the way?
About bottom surgery?
Mhm.
I I don't know if I want it right now in my life,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure I see myself getting it later down the line just because I don't think my dysphoria about that is that bad.
Mhm.
If it ever gets to that point, I would definitely be very open to bottom surgery. But right now, I don't think my mental health needs it.
Yeah. I think
But
that's completely valid.
yeah, I've talked to somebody or two people who have gotten bottom surgery, and they're like, people say the science isn't there, but like, for me it is, like, it works fine, it works perfectly, like, blah blah blah, and I'm like, fuck yeah. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, I think, but I also have talked to people who said the science isn't there, and they've made some good points too. So, like, I don't know, it's all just like whatever you prefer personally, you know?
Yeah, Russian roulette. You know, either you got a good dick
Right.
or you got a bad dick. Fingers crossed. I don't know.
It's the same for cis men too, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll
Good
see.
dick or bad dick? We'll see.
Yeah.
So, Ernie, tell me about your coming out story. When did you come out as trans?
So I don't know whether other trans men have experience with this, but I found myself coming out at different points. And I think because a lot of that was because it wasn't initially received well. So the first time I remember coming out was when the first time I even knew what being transgender was I was 14 years old and I Googled feel like a boy inside my head.
Oh.
And this is a thought that I had been afraid of my entire life because, I went through school and I knew that I liked women, but I was like, I'm not a lesbian. And even from as young as I can remember, I like toddler age, I would dream myself as a man. I would draw myself as a man. And this was just something that I kept inside for a long time. So anyway, yeah, I was like around 14. I Googled that and I found out you could be transgender. So I was like, holy fuck, this is amazing. But I was also like, oh shit, this is really scary and nerve wracking.
Yep.
And I just had to carry that secret around for, I think it was 2 years until I told someone. My cousin Claudia, I would play Minecraft with her every day. And we were like 16 at the time. And I remember I came out to her and my like identity on Minecraft, because we would play online with people. I think I went with the name Finn.
That's so
Which
cute.
also just like such a trans guy name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went with the name Finn, and I was like out as a guy on there, and then it wasn't until I was, I think, 18, I slowly started to tell friends around me, and eventually I told family. I think the night that I started to tell friends, it was New Year's Eve 2017, so it was turning 2017. And I remember one of my friends who's like really into astrology or whatever, she came up to me and was like, it's a new moon tonight, that means new beginnings, new beginnings. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll tell people now. And it was bad though, because everyone was like fucked up drunk. So like, it's like they were like sloppy drunk, like, we love you, da da da. One of them stole my phone and was like trying to change my Instagram name, and I was like, no, I'm not ready yet. So then like I just started to tell more people and eventually told my family, which initially didn't go well, but now my parents are like more supportive than ever. I think that it was just an initial like shock and fear.
Right.
And yeah, I think like a lack of understanding to begin with, but I talk to my mom now, and in hindsight, she's like, I could have known since you were a toddler.
Yeah.
So
That very much reminds me of how it went down with my parents as well.
really,
How long would you say it took them to like understand, I guess?
maybe like a year to 2 years, I want to say. I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly. I know that my mom's gonna watch this and she'll be like, it actually was. But no, I think it was like maybe a year to 2 years, I think. How long was it for yours?
I would say around the same, a year to 2 years. I mean,
Okay.
my mom came around before my dad did. Sometimes things are still hazy with my father. Like he's called me his son like maybe once, and I've been out as trans for 7 years. So like
Wow.
which I know him calling me his son was like huge for him.
Mhm.
And like he doesn't really misgender me anymore, but I know that my name in his phone is still my dead name. And I know that he still tells his friends that he has a daughter because I heard him on the phone one time. He thought I couldn't hear him and he like dead named me and whatnot to one of his friends. So I was like,
Did his friends ever met you? 'Cause it's like,
when when I was a little kid, yeah, but they haven't seen
right.
me in fucking years, so they have no fucking idea. It's just like, oh, you've made so much progress in front of me, but like
Mhm.
you're still so embarrassed of having a trans kid, which is just crazy to me.
God, man,
Yeah.
I try to empathize, but I just like I can't. I don't know if you want kids in the future, but like I can't fathom not, feeling proud of my kid and, doing everything that I can to get to a place where I can feel that way and a place of understanding.
Right.
I'm in like not a similar boat actually at all. My birth father, I'm like not in. I have the best stepdad in the world, but my birth father, I'm not in contact with, and he's like transphobic, racist, xenophobic, homophobic. Like,
That sucks.
yeah, him and I don't really see eye to eye, I guess you could say. But yeah, I could never, I couldn't have fathom like abandoning my child or just like not being there for my child in like
hmm
in private and also outwardly.
hmm
Um,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense to me.
Why have a kid? This is one of my last episodes. Why have a kid if you're not going to support them through anything? Isn't that what like having a kid is about? Like you love them. No, that is the only love in the world that should be unconditional. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I don't know. I've never understood that. But
Yeah.
and I think there's a stigma around trans people where we think like apparently we think that like nobody's allowed to have a little grace period with it. Like even though when my mom like and my dad like didn't really support me at first and like they made my life a living hell over it, like I
Hmm.
don't necessarily blame them. I'm not mad at them.
Hmm.
Like I'm their kid. Like out of everybody in the world who knows me, they're the ones who are allowed to have that grace period.
Hmm.
I mean, like I don't think it should last that long, but like
No,
you know
and
what I mean?
I think there's this like I think back then there was this archaic perspective of having a child and you just envision their future off the bat. Like you have in your brain like, I want them to get married to a man, and I can't wait to see them walk down the aisle in a dress, and I can't wait to have that for them to have children, and I'll be a grandparent and they'll do this job. And
Yep.
I think that it's not to a fault of their own that they have that instilled in their brain, but I think it's understandable that they have to grieve that initially,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
I 100% agree. And I think that's definitely changing too. Like when I have a kid one day, because I definitely do want kids.
Mhm.
I I don't I mean like I'm sure I'll envision like who they are like as a person, but
Mhm.
like and I'm biased cuz I'm trans, but like I don't know, I don't think like even with my nephew who's only 2 right now, like
Mhm.
I mean I think about who he's going to be as a person, like if he's, what's he going to be into and stuff like that, but like to his core, like I don't think about like his gender 20 years from now. I don't think about his sexuality 20 years from now, you know what I mean? Like that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's just I understand like trying to figure out who your kid what you want for your kid and
Mhm.
grieving that.
Mhm.
But like I don't know. I think it's dope that your parents, like you said, your parents are your biggest supporters now. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's I feel feel so lucky. And there was a point in time as well where I couldn't envision my relationship right now with them being where it's at in terms of my transness at all, you know?
Yeah. No, me too. I relate to that. Do you think well, when did you start hormones from like when you came out to them? Like were you starting hormones like right after you came out or
It was 3 years after, because
oh wow.
I got my referral and then I went away to New York And then it was when I came back, it was like a couple months after I came back, I got onto my hormones. So I think I just turned 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I was gonna ask, like, because for me, like, I don't think my dad really understood how to support me when he still saw me physically as a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which I say all the time, but it sucks that like he had to see proof
Mm-hmm.
before he could just take my word
Yep.
for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna ask, like, did you ever feel that way towards like anybody in your life, your parents, friends, whatever, who like you felt like they couldn't really see you as a man until you actually presented as one?
Everybody. Everybody. You know, I think that at least for the most part, I think that there's this like unconscious bias, right? You know, that famous phrase that people like to throw at you, you don't look trans. The fuck does that mean? Oh, you mean that I don't look like a woman who's actually just dressed as a man? That's what you mean?
Yup. It's like you don't even know what trans looks like. I don't even know what trans looks like.
It doesn't look like anything. Like what the fuck does cisgender look like? I don't know.
Right.
A fucking person, a human being. Like I don't know what that means. I've never understood what that meant. Well, I do know what it means. It means you're saying that I don't. Whoa, you don't actually look like a woman. That's crazy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. That's so nice of you. But yeah, I think everybody unconsciously, you know, there's like the infantilization of trans men that I find where, at least when I was younger, and sometimes it happens now. But you know, people being like, "Oh, my king," or you know, "Oh, you're so cute." Like, I don't know. I just felt like people. I was never treated as a man, if that makes sense. It was always just like either like treated like a woman or treated like this cutesy little like thing, you know?
100%. I feel you. You know, I saw one of your latest TikToks where you were saying that people love to call trans men king. I do that, but it's not just trans men. I call everybody king and queen. But you're so right. You are so fucking right about that. I can't tell you like how many times like I don't think that the people that are close to me are calling me king because I'm trans, but like on the outside, people I don't know very well, it's always, "Hey, king! Oh my god, slay, king!"
As soon as they find out you're trans, they're like, every other word is like, "Oh my god, king! Oh my god, king! Love you, king! Love that hoodie, king!" It's like, shut the fuck up, you know? I mean, even
it's so funny.
You know what's funny too? I saw this video by this gay man. He was talking about being diva zoned. So it's like, you know, when he's talking to another gay man and he thinks that there's like something going on, and then like the other gay man is like, "Yes, diva." It's like, oh, okay, we're not like we're not fucking. For me, I said this to someone earlier. I was like, someone called me king, and I was like, "Don't king zone me." I feel like if you get king zone, that's like nothing's happening to you. Like, there's no way. When someone calls you king, you know you guys aren't fucking. There's no way. You know?
I think that's so fucking funny because I even before this episode, I had that video in my head of you saying like the whole king thing, and I was like, "Don't call him king. Don't call." I already did it like twice.
Consciously saying it. I think you texted me before this episode and you said, "Hey, king." I was like, this motherfucker, just like the rest of them.
I'm so sorry. I know, I can't help it. It's king and slay and period. I can't. I want to take those words out of my fucking body and throw them away. I say it way too fucking often. It's like a weird nervous habit at this point. I don't know why I do it.
See, I had to stop that because, you know, I don't know whether it's like, sometimes I wish I could walk around with a t-shirt on that says, "I'm a trans man," so people will go, "Oh, okay, you make sense now as a person." Because it's like, I'm like, you know, fucking 5'8", I don't say it so much now, but like I'd be like, oh, slay, or like whatever. Like
Mhm.
I just seemed like this little like gay man, maybe, I don't know. And I feel like maybe, I know that's a stereotype, but I feel like in like, you know, social settings or like for my dating life, it'd be like, is it like, what is this? Who is this guy? Like, what's going on here? You know?
No, deadass. I think people are so confused by me, especially
Mhm.
like on my after dark videos where I don't always make it 100% clear that I'm trans.
Right.
I'm like, I use a very like feminine voice sometimes,
Hmm.
and it's part of my personality. I've always been a little flamboyant, and I
Yeah.
don't really know why. I I notice that transphobic people who comment don't realize that I'm trans.
Hmm.
So they're like, why is he using that voice? Why is he acting so feminine? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Or they'll be like, this guy's clearly just trying to get pussy from these videos. And I'm like, dude,
I get that a lot. I get that
I
a lot.
can't.
And I say, it's true. No. And I reply and say,
Actually, you're right.
yeah, actually, maybe you're onto something. I don't know. No, that is not. It's not true.
That's
But
fucking hilarious.
no, I've had like a few of those comments before. Like when I'll talk about you know, how I feel like being trans has you know, almost forced me to have empathy for women on a level that like no other man would be able to reach, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And so
100%.
all the comments are just like, she's not gonna hit, bro. You're not gonna hit, bro. Like, and I'm like, okay, whatever. It's fine.
I think it's so funny because they're only commenting that out of their own insecurities because they can't voice the same opinions. And they know that those
Yeah.
opinions are what women prefer because why wouldn't they? You know
Mhm.
what I mean? That's just dumb as fuck. Speaking about your content though and your TikTok, how long have you been doing that for? When did you start making content?
I think I started like so I started secretly because I made this account completely secretly. Like I didn't want anybody to find out about it, and I initially made it because I didn't really have any other trans men in my life that I connected to. Um, so I guess I just wanted to be part of that community in some way. Um, and so I made it like last April, and I wasn't really doing much with it. And then I think it was in September. I like I went through like a bunch of bullshit at once, you know, just like in my personal life, like
Mhm.
some family stuff happened, and I had like a relationship thing happen, and um, I was just like, okay, well, I have fucking nothing to lose. It was almost like a quarter life crisis type of thing, where I was like, okay, I guess I'll just fucking post on TikTok every day. But I said, yeah, I started posting every single day, and then it just now we're here.
Yeah, you're fucking killing the game. Like
Thanks,
you have
man.
you have a fair amount of followers, and like you could tell. I said this on my last episode too. I love to see like trans people who are making content for themselves. Like you could tell when you post your videos, you're doing it because you think it's funny or you think it's fun, and
Hmm.
you're like trying to get a message across, but you're also just fucking having fun with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I don't like to post. I never post anything where I don't like if I don't feel like posting something, I just don't fucking post something. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, 100%. I love
Um,
that. Do you? I know we just talked about like certain comments, but
mhm.
I I did stalk your TikTok and I have seen people comment some out of pocket things. I think it was actually just yesterday. I think I actually commented on one. It was I forget what the comment said, but you were like everybody engage with this TikTok so that I can make money off of this transphobic person. I was like, yo, that's such a power move. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. Dude. That was the first thing that like started going like. I hate saying it, but like viral.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, that was like that was my big break. But no,
I love that.
it's amazing. It you know, that's usually my go-to in terms of dealing with transphobic comments. And
Mhm.
now my perception of them is completely changed because I'll scroll through my comments and I'll be like, I need one worse than that. Like, I'll be like looking for transphobic comments and be like, I need like a really bad one so that like people like this. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I did that fucking 2 days ago because I was recording an After Dark video. It just came out.
Yeah,
I
I
did one
saw that
about hate
actually.
comments.
You
Yeah,
posted it on your
yeah,
story.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like for me, they don't affect me at all, and I think I just see it as like, you know, the way on TikTok, if a comment is really bad, you have to like approve it.
Yeah.
I approve every single one.
So do
Reason
I.
being is I'm like, that's so fucking embarrassing that you posted that. You can live with that.
Yup, 100%. I'm always like, people need to see this. Yeah, people need to see how fucking vile you are.
Also, I think there's like a huge importance in people seeing those comments and recognizing that like we're not just like some fucking snowflakes fighting for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like we're not just
Mhm.
kicking up a fucking storm for no reason. Like
Mhm.
there's people out there who want us dead. Like I get death threats every single day.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that when
Yeah,
you're caught in a echo chamber or you live in a place where everybody's generally accepting, you forget that. And
it's true. That is very true.
even me being on TikTok, like that's been a huge reminder for me that it's important to engage with the activism side of being trans.
Yeah, that's actually a huge point because like before I started the podcast and everything, like I was so closed off to like everything trans. I had no
Mhm.
trans friends, whatever. I wasn't keeping up with hello, keeping up with anything in the media about trans people.
Mhm.
I was so closed off that I didn't see just how much people hated me for my identity.
Mhm.
And like, I don't want to say that it's like a good thing that I'm so exposed to it now because I mean, it's not fun
Mhm.
sometimes, but like, you're right. It is like extremely important to know, you know what I mean? Like, because it makes the activism part that much more important. And like, I don't know, I don't think like if you're trans, you have to be gung ho, I'm trans, fighting for trans rights all the time. But
Yeah.
like, it is hard to see certain people like that have a platform who are trans not talk about the fact that they're trans. You know what I mean? Because like you have a huge platform, you could help all these trans people in need. But I also get it because you don't want death threats every day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I feel like I can't say anything about it if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say the same thing. I have noticed that with like a couple people, and I think that my perspective is like obviously the lack of understanding of like you have this huge platform and you probably have a lot of like trans people who are following you,
Mm,
who need some sort of like hope or advice, you know, especially early on in a transition. So you have the opportunity to do that. But not only that, I think as well, something that I've been like super honest about is, you know, a lot of people will comment, transphobes mainly, and be like, why is being trans your entire personality? Da 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 da. And I'm like, I mean, number one, like it helps people
mm,
who follow me. Like I want to be the person that a lot of creators were for me when I was younger.
yeah.
But number two, like you can earn a lot of revenue talking about that, and like why wouldn't you when you've suffered so much for being that?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I think my perspective is like, why would I not try and like make revenue from this? Of course, like it's also a dream to make revenue from, you know, like doing something that's actually fulfilling and helping people. Like
Hell
it's
yeah.
meaningful, you know.
Hell yeah. There's absolutely no shame in that. I mean, like, I get the same comments. People are like, you know, being trans or the LGBT community is your entire personality.
Hmm.
One, it is a huge part. Like, I will sit right here and admit, like, I talk about the trans struggle a lot, even
Right.
outside of content. Like, I do. Like, it's a huge part of my personality because I'm
Hmm.
proud of it.
Hmm.
And like, but also like it's not. I talk about other things too, but like this is what I do. This is what I make content for. Like obviously it's going to look like it's my entire personality, but also like as you just said, like this is what people do. They content create, and whatever their niche is, that's what they're going to focus on. You can say that about everybody, and find your niche and make money off of it. Like that's period. Like I love that. I do want to talk to you about your dating life as a trans man, if you're open to it, because I know that many of us struggle.
Yeah.
How has that been as a trans guy?
I think that it's interesting. I was talking actually yesterday to somebody about my first ever date out as a trans man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what she said to me? Not the person I was talking to, the person I was on a date with.
What did she say?
She said, "So, if I like you, does that mean I'm a lesbian?" And I was like, "Okay, I got it. Where's the check? Can I get the check, actually?"
The first ever date you were out as trans?
Yeah, first ever date is out as a trans man.
That's start.
And dude, I went all out. I remember I took her to a restaurant, and then I took her to this like tea, like it was like a night, like I made a night of it, you know.
Oh.
And she didn't fuck up until the tea house. But anyway, I mean, I was like, we were both young at the time. I think I was 18. And so, yeah, that was like not a good start. But I think that as I've been on hormones for however long, and I've gotten surgery now, it's definitely changed. It's definitely made it a lot easier to date. And for a while there, I felt like I didn't feel like it hindered my dating life so much until probably the past year, where I've been like, oh, okay, like some people have made it clear to me that me being trans is something that they're not comfortable with, or it's a point of contention in the relationship.
Do you use dating apps a lot or no?
No, I never really use dating apps. I've used them when I've like been traveling. But other than that, like not really. I just talk to people on Instagram.
There you go. Because I was gonna say I don't. I've only like. I guess I'm just realizing this now, but I've only dated people that went to my school. That were either in my grade or went to my school district. Yeah, like so like I don't know how trans people or just people in general actually like find anyone to date. Like I don't know how that works. If you're not using a dating app, how? Like I mean, I guess people go to bars. I don't go to bars. But
Me
like,
either. I'm sober, so that makes that I think that element makes it a little bit tough. But yeah, I've dated like one person who I'd been to school with, and that like I think that because she'd known me for so long, I thought like, oh yeah, me being trans isn't going to be any issue, and I think that having had a conversation afterwards, that it was clear that it was in some way. So
no, that sucks. That sucks hard because like I don't know, especially if you knew the person too. And like, actually, when my first girlfriend, I wasn't trans yet, so it's not the same, but it's kind of the same. I was her first kiss, and she told me like probably a year into us dating that she was like honestly for a while I didn't think our first kiss counted because you weren't a boy. And I was like, oh my God, who am I dating right now?
Yeah, what the fuck? I mean, like, dude, when someone says something fucking left field, you're just like, oh, okay. Like, like you were laid up in my bed watching, like, reading fucking Elliot Page Boy, and now you're saying shit like this?
No, deadass.
It's like, where did this come from? You
It
know?
was still a kiss, motherfucker. Like, didn't matter what my gender was. Like, a mouth is a mouth at the end of the day. Like, it's not even like.
I don't know. I think, when somebody you care about says these things, like, it sticks with you and it follows you into other relationships, and it's something you got to work on. Like, I feel like it's something that I really, really need to work on at the moment. Like, I think my dating life of 2024 has been kind of like, it's kind of been a little bit of a jumbled mess in a way, and I think a lot of it comes down to my own insecurities about my transness in a relationship, and I think I make assumptions too that it is going to be a problem or whatever. But there was a funny thing that I had the other day though, where not the other day, this was like a few weeks back, where this I was like talking to this girl, and it was it was like really casual. It'd been like a matter of days of talking to her, and she was like, "So what's your height?" And I was like, "I'm 5'8". And all of a sudden the conversation stopped, and I was like, I was like, oh, she must have fell asleep or something. She texted me the next day and was like, "Oh, hey, sorry, the 5'8" message was a rogue one to fall asleep on. I just wanted to say I think you seem really cool, but and I swear it has nothing to do with you being 5'8", but I just can't do this right now."
What? What?
And I was just like, I think I replied, and I was like, "That's cool. I appreciate the honesty."
That's crazy. 5'8". 5'8" isn't even like that short. Like,
No, I mean she told me she's 5'8", so maybe that, I don't know. Maybe she just wasn't.
that's fucked.
But
That's absolutely fucked.
yeah, that got me. That put me straight back in the gutter, where where I was. But yeah, I mostly found the comedy in that, and she I mean she was super nice and super funny, and I think she was being honest.
That your height had nothing to do with her
Yeah,
not being interested.
Yeah, I think this is the story that I'm telling myself. But no, I think I was getting the idea that like things were kind of fizzling out anyway prior to her asking my height. Maybe that was like the nail in the coffin for her. She was like, "Okay, I'll ask him his height. If it's over 6 foot, maybe we can give this another go."
Oh god. That's. I mean, I'm 5'7", so
yeah, I mean,
short kings. I don't think it's that short though, to be honest.
I personally think anything above 5'7" is over 6 foot in trans men terms. Even 5'6".
Facts.
If you were over 5'6", you're if you're 5'6", you're 6 foot. If you're 5'7", you're 6'1". If you're 5'8", you're 6'2".
I like the way you think.
That's the way it translates. But yeah, I think in dating at the moment anyway, I think that my feelings are that I was thinking about this when I read your questions prior to the podcast, and I think that the words that came to mind for me were like a test drive. Sometimes I feel like I'm a test drive. I think that's because I'm going on a test drive in like a few weeks. And I was like, wait, that's me. But no, I think that, I almost feel like I'm treated like a test drive. I'm like a new shiny toy and something to try out, but not something to be considered for the long term. And I think in some ways, like, a lot of times I feel like I'm something to regret. Yeah.
That's a really, I bet you, I mean, I know I have in the past, and I bet you like millions of trans guys can resonate with that and agree with that. Like, we're not like, and I don't know why, because like if you're engaging with a trans guy, like you have to like unless you're like extremely uneducated, like you have to know what you're getting yourself into. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and it's I don't say getting yourself into like it's anything to get into. It's just like we're not cis men, so if you're it just comes down to stop playing with people's feelings because like if you're not interested in it, why are you here? Just for fucking curiosity? Like that's fucked up. That makes you a shitty person. I
Yeah.
don't get it. Don't get it. Do you mean like test drive in the sense of like they're test driving like just to see if they like trans men, or they test driving like their sexuality like compared to men to women? Because like some people call us a good in between for like
Oh,
shit like that, which is
fuck,
horrible.
dude.
I know.
Um, I think I mean in the sense of like going into it knowing like, yeah, I like this guy and he ticks these boxes, but I know that this isn't going to be long term because of ABC. You know, I can't have like biological children with this man, and you know, like there's no like comparison to this
Right.
guy and you know the stereotypical cis man, 6 foot, um, like
Yeah,
I don't know, like yeah, I feel like it's like a test drive, as in going into it just knowing that it's not going to be a long term thing.
it's fucked.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fucked. I mean, all that says about somebody is that they're not emotionally mature for any kind of relationship.
Hmm.
That's completely on them, not on you as a person or as a trans person in general. Because like there are millions of cis men who can't have biological kids. You know what I mean? There's so many cis women too that can't. Like it's not a
Hmm.
deficit for us. It's just something that makes us who we are. Like, you know what I mean? Like it sucks. I want to be able to have my own biological kids one day, and I'm just using that one as an example.
Hmm.
But it sucks, but like it's not a deficit because there are millions of other people who have that
Yeah.
or they can't,
Hmm.
and they're not trans. You know what I mean? Because that's something that stuck with me for a long time. It still does some days, but I have to remember that like some cis men can't either, and that doesn't make me different. I guess you know what I mean.
No, and it also like, you know, it doesn't devalue the child that you end up having, like whether you
Hmm.
adopt or you get a surrogate, like the feeling of like having a child that's yours, it doesn't take away from everything that it's not biological. That being said, though, I have been in contact with it's a startup in Berkeley, California. I forget the name of them, but they are developing I think it's called IVG. So basically they are able to create an embryo from stem cells, which means you and your partner would just have to have a blood test and they would grow your baby in a lab. And I
Mm,
think in like they said in the next 10 years they plan to roll it out. But I mean, it's going to cost like, I think initially it's going to
yeah.
cost a lot of money.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I would be very interested. I would put all of my savings towards something like that, to be
mhm.
honest, because the whole like finding a sperm donor and shit like that makes me not happy, can't lie.
Yeah.
Uh but I'm trying as I get older to like be more comfortable with that and not let it make me feel like less of a man or make me feel dysphoric or anything.
Hmm.
Because again, lots of cis men have to do that as well. That can't be easy for them too. But yeah, that's something I'd be like very, very into learning about, to be honest.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I'll send them to you when we finish the podcast. I'll send them to you.
Yeah, I
It's
appreciate
super,
that.
super interesting, like in general. But when you're actually interested in doing it, it's really hopeful. I felt hopeful when I found them.
Hey, that's what it's all about. I love that.
Hmm.
Um, last little topic today. I want to talk about cis men, per usual. Have you, just because this came to my mind when we were talking, when I first asked you to be on the pod, we were talking about cis men just a little bit.
Hmm.
And I'm obviously, it's something I talk about fucking all the time, and I'm tired of hearing myself talk about it at this point. But I think, obviously, as I say in all my videos, like it's important to talk about because they are the people who are the most transphobic to us and cause the most harm to our community. So it
Mhm.
is important, in my opinion, to hold them accountable. How do you feel about cis men? Maybe have you ever had trouble making cis men friends, etc., stuff like that?
I had a lot of trouble making friends with cis men because I find that for me it's like, and I do have like a few friends who are cis men, um,
Mm.
but I find that like 99% of cis men don't want to have a conversation that is below surface level, that isn't about sports, speaking misogynistically about women, um, and that's pretty much it. It's
Super emoji.
yeah, it's like only surface level bullshit that it's just like, I don't know, like I can't connect to that. But when I have connected to cis men, I've been like, whoa, like this guy isn't like the other guys. Like this guy is
Mhm.
cool, and then you'll get 6 months into the friendship, and then they'll say some off the wall shit about a woman, and you'll be like, okay, you're exactly like them. Okay, then you just distance yourself. But yeah,
Yep.
my I don't know, my feelings towards cis men. Um, I don't hold anything against them. Like, if I don't know someone, I can't hold anything against them. But for the most part, when I've gotten to know some of them, I just feel like I don't connect with them. And yeah, I think most of them are misogynistic. Um, I hate that for them to care about how a woman feels, it has to be put into the perspective of like, what if that was your sister? What if that was your mom? What if that was whatever? How about what if that's a fucking human being with thoughts and feelings and like
Dead
sentience?
ass.
You know?
No, dead fucking ass.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, I think I don't have the patience for them. How do you feel?
I agree. I mean, I think everybody knows how I feel, but I think lately I try so hard to like, I don't know. Everybody like sees me talking mad shit on cis men every single week, and I stand by everything I have always said.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not about to switch up opinions right now. I just think that lately it's been causing me to judge cis men before I even get to know them. Like I'm judging them just because they're cis now, and I realize that, and now
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I need to take a step back maybe and like figure out why. And obviously, I know why. It's because there's a huge part of me that is jealous that I'm not cis, and like I'm angry because of the way cis men have treated me in the past because I'm trans,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know, I feel like I am valid in the fact that I hold a grudge towards cis men in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am valid in that, but it shouldn't make me judge every single cis man before meeting them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, for sure. I think that I have a similar feeling, but I oftentimes find that like if I get a feeling towards someone off the bat, whether it's like if it's like a minute or 2 minutes into meeting them, it's usually validated like 30 minutes into
Yeah.
meeting them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sometimes you can just feel it, and you can feel that it's off, and it doesn't even necessarily have to do with the fact that they're a cis man. It's just like, oh, okay, you're exactly what the fuck I expected you to be. Cool.
Exactly. And then I'm like, fuck, does that make me a bad person for judging them in the first 15 minutes of meeting them? But like,
No,
stop being so predictable. I don't know. Like,
no, and also like bear in mind, like it's the same shit that people do to us. It's the same fucking shit people do to us. Like because even if somebody isn't transphobic towards you, you know when you meet those motherfuckers where like they find out that you're trans and all of a sudden they're on eggshells around you and they feel like they can't say certain things and whatever.
Yep.
If you fucking feel that way, like maybe reassess what you're saying
Mm,
to everybody. If you have to be
mm.
careful around a trans man, like maybe look inwards about that.
Yup. 100%. And
That's
I do
my
find that,
choice.
like, I do find that when I meet, I also want to preface that, like, I'm not saying that like, the people I react to on After Dark or anything, those are not the cis men I'm talking about. I have no problem judging them off the bat, based off their videos. I'm talking about cis men that I meet in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But I find that the cis men I meet in real life who know I'm trans definitely, like, they play like this alpha game, I feel like. Or even if they don't know I'm trans, cis men just love to be the alpha male, the strongest man in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And like there is no bigger like turn off to me. Like you might as well just piss all over everybody. Like I can't. It pisses me off so much.
To be honest, dude, like anyone who's like particularly like makes like like a big thing of themselves when they walk into a room, like the loudest fucking person in the room, like when they have to be that, I just find that so insufferable, and it reeks of just fucking insecurity. That's what it is,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yup.
It's just like fucking.
100%.
Are you not exhausted when you go home from doing that? How is this enjoyable for you that you were like putting on a fucking performance when we're just in like a normal social setting?
No, for real. Like you're clearly compensating for something.
Yes, I think a lot of it is overcompensation, and I think it's like deeper insecurity, and I think a lot of the transphobia that we probably experience comes from a place of like probably jealousy that we
Yeah.
can so openly be ourselves and we feel comfortable with ourselves, and they don't feel that. And I think that like maybe they get a small moment of relief when they take it out on us, when they say something, when they put us down. It makes them feel like higher up, I guess.
Like more of a man than me. It's
Yeah.
disgusting. It's like I've never met a real man who violates an entire community but go off, I guess.
Yeah. Also, like, I will just say, you know, I wanted to be a cis man for like such a long time. I wished for a long time that I wasn't born trans. Like, I wouldn't go to pride events. I wouldn't be friends with other trans people because I just wanted to be treated as a cis person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now in hindsight, you know, like I feel more of a man than any transphobe ever could be. And I wouldn't change it for the world, the fact that I'm a trans man. You know, I think that like I wouldn't want to be just some other cis guy who doesn't have the life experience to have empathy for women in the way that we do and for the trans people. Yeah, I think
100%.
I'm appreciative now of the empathy I've been able to build because I'm trans.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's on growth, 100%. I feel like most trans men like hate the fact that they're trans in the beginning of their transition, and then when you grow and you get on hormones, you realize like shit. Like it's also like I wouldn't, as you said, I wouldn't want to be any other normal fucking white cis guy. Like
No.
I don't know, like everybody is special in their own ways. Like I know that, but it may be conceited to say, but being trans makes me special. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Mhm.
I mean, like, I've heard people say, like, it's not my favorite part of myself because it's not, you know, it's not what I'm all about. It's not who I am, but it is. Like, it's 100% my favorite part of myself because it's the part I'm most proud of. Again, like, same as you, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, why would I? Like, so that I can be another transphobic white cis guy? Like, no. That sounds really boring to me, actually.
And I also think that like it's opened way more doors than it's closed, you know? I mean, like, I wouldn't have fuck shit to talk about if I was just some fucking cis guy on the internet. Probably same with you. You'd be just another fucking white cis man with a podcast, you know?
Yeah. I'd pray that someone would fucking kill me if I was.
Yeah. I mean, I had a podcast before, and I was like, I had my moment, but it wasn't about being trans, because then I'd be like, yeah, okay, like this makes sense, but it was just a fucking guy having a podcast, and I was just like, oh no.
It's okay though, because you are trans, so it's fine. It's just cis men who shouldn't have podcasts.
It does open more doors than it closes, and I think that the level of connection that we're able to experience with other people
Mm-hmm.
through empathy, whether it be within the trans community, whether it be in friendships with women,
Mm-hmm.
I feel so lucky to have that, because I would feel so lonely if I didn't have those connections. If I was just having connections with other cis guys,
Boring.
I would be like, I would lose my fucking mind, having to talk about bullshit all the time that doesn't actually matter. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if a cis man heard this conversation, they'd get so mad because it's like, well, we're more than just that. We don't just sit around and talk about sports and girls and blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't know, man. Every single situation I've been in with a cis man, besides Max, my lovely editor, every situation I've been in with any other cis man, that's all it is. That's all it is. And then you try to have a deeper conversation and they can't.
No.
Like,
No, I was even talking to this girl, and she was like, I asked her I can't remember what question I asked her, but she said that one thing she noticed was that, like, I ask a lot of more questions than cis guys ever would. Like, they don't ask. She didn't, in her experience, hadn't like been asked questions by cis men, and I was
That's
like, what the
crazy.
fuck? I was like, what do you mean? Like, when she said, like, oh, you asked me questions, I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, that doesn't feel like something that I'm like conscious of doing,
Right, because that's how you make a connection to another human. You ask questions, like that's how you get to know somebody, and like that's just how you know. Like it's just
Yeah,
they don't have it.
It doesn't make any sense to me, and I hope that it never does.
Period. I agree 100%. Ernie, before we go, I want to ask you about your trans song of the week.
Okay, can I say two? Actually, I've thought about it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I think, in terms of trans song of the week, initially I chose, it's called "Get Me" by Everything But the Girl, and I think it resonates with me in the sense that it's this feeling of maybe being in like relationships and just feeling like the person never really understands you or knows you. Kind of a sad trans song of the week.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's like feeling like you'll never be enough for them as yourself, which I guess relates back to what I was talking about, being a test drive, But my other choice was "Frontin'" by Pharrell.
Period.
Because, I mean, it's my trans song of the week because it's one of the first moments when I was younger where I remember watching the TV. You remember when you would watch music videos on the TV? Like MTV? I remember watching, and the music video for "Frontin'" by Pharrell came on, and that's one of like my most vivid memories of looking at a man and being like, that's what I want to be.
I want to be Pharrell.
And look at me now. We're indistinguishable, Cody actually picked up the call and was like, wait, Pharrell Williams? I was like, no, I get it all the time.
Oh, dude.
And it's also just a really fucking great song. It's like it's one of my favorite songs of all time.
Really?
So if you want to feel happy, "Frontin'" by Pharrell. If you want to be in your feelings, "Get Me" by Everything But the Girl. It's like very beautifully written.
He's versatile.
he's versatile,
I absolutely love those song suggestions. I did listen to the first one, and it was good. I was moving and grooving, like in a sad way, but also in a happy way. So I loved it. Both of those songs will be in the description below for anybody who wants to check them out. Ernie, where can people follow you?
Probably TikTok. I've never plugged my shit before, so this is new to me. But at Fisherman Ernie on TikTok.
Do you fish, Ernie?
Yes.
I
haven't been fishing in a really long time, but I grew up fishing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Period. I was asking because I know your email has the word fishing in it, and your TikTok. I was like, this man better be a fisherman, otherwise.
Yeah, I was looking at like old pictures today, like baby photos, and there's so many of just me with like, I think it all started with like a stick and some string on the end.
Oh,
Like I have
that's
photos
cute.
with that, and then it's pictures of me with like rods and stuff like that. So yeah,
Are you sure you're not a cis man then?
it's too. Wait, I will tell a small anecdote by the way. Just before I leave, my mom told me about this. Initially, when I was born, that I just completely ignored that my poster fell down, but the doctor initially when I was born, when I came out, the doctor was like, "It's a boy," and then they were like, "Oh, no, it's not." So technically, I'm a trans man assigned male at birth.
That's fucking great. I
So-
love that. That's my favorite story. Are you kidding? Damn,
Thank
I kind
you.
of wish that happened to me.
That was the one thing where I was like, I need to tell that story. I was like, I gotta get that in
That's
there
great.
somehow. There you go.
The doctor was right.
The doctor was
Yeah.
right all along.
That's fucking great. I love that. Ernie, thank you so much for today. This was such a fun episode.
Thanks
I feel
for
like
having me.
I feel like we have the same kind of like humor and we joke the same. And you fucking kill me, dude. You're fucking hilarious. With that being
Likewise.
said,
Thank you. That being said, everybody please go give Ernie a follow on TikTok. He makes absolutely great and funny content. You won't regret it. And make sure you follow me at HRT Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. I try to post as much as I can. And make sure you turn on my post notifications on YouTube. I post videos every Tuesdays and Fridays. If you haven't checked out After Dark yet, please go do so. I'm very proud of it. Join my Discord. Got lots of trans people in there laughing, having a good time every single day. And if you're feeling particularly nice today, it would be so cool of you if you subscribe to my Patreon. I would greatly appreciate it. And follow me on Twitch. I stream every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's about it for today. Ernie, thank you so much for today. This was a great episode.
Thank you.
Of course, I will see you all next week. I love you so much. Okay, bye!